So anyway, it's about how many times you.
We're good to go. Good afternoon. Welcome to Banking and Consumers Affairs Subcommittee. And if y'all see the gentleman that's a lot larger than me down here on the left end, he says that we've got to hurry up. And I said, yes, sir. So we're going to roll through this today, hopefully. Let's see here. Any personal orders here from the committee?
I don't have a personal order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
But if I could be recognized, I'd like to move that we accept, given that this is our final calendar, that we move to accept untimely filed amendments today. That's not the policy of this committee, but in order to expedite things, I move, as opposed to having people roll them and extending the committee next week, we accept untimely filed amendments today.
Without objection, so moved. I got one personal, we've got a new addition here to our banking family. Mr. Alex Perry has got a new addition to his family, bright-eyed little girl. So we wish Miss Perry and the baby nothing but the best. If we could welcome them. Does any of the members have any personal requests? A little bit of house cleaning here. We're going to roll to the Hill House number 15, House Bill 2057. We're going to number 16, House Bill 2060 will also be rolled to the Hill. Number 2, House Bill 1468 is off notice. So we're going to jump right here with item number 1 with Deputy Speaker Zachary, House Bill 1898.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. And Mr. Chairman, I do have an amendment from the AG, which is 15780.
Without objection, we'll add that amendment to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. Members, it's good to be before you with an issue that, according to Anchor Research, 92% of Tennesseans support, and that is safety requirements and laws protecting children related to AI. Tennessee is working to be proactive and to be a national leader when it comes to protections related to AI while not in any way impeding the advancement or innovation of AI. Our speaker actually was at the White House yesterday and engaged the White House on this topic. They do have an interest and an engagement in this bill, and Section 8 of the executive order that President issued in December allows for exceptions related to child protection and catastrophic protection, which is what this bill addresses. So we appreciate their engagement, and Tennessee will be one of the leaders related to AI safety for children and catastrophic public safety risks. Mr. Chairman and committee, this legislation establishes clear transparency and safety requirements for the largest and most powerful AI companies in Tennessee. We're putting in place guardrails focusing on 2 high-risk areas. That includes catastrophic public safety risk, which posed by frontier AI models. That only includes XAI, OpenAI, Meta, Google, and Anthropic, those with a $500 million annual revenue. That's all the catastrophic applies to. Catastrophic risk includes cyber attacks, loss of control. I call that the Skynet provision, which some of you may get after the committee's over. Anybody get that, KV? Chairman Vaughn gets that, the Skynet reference. Weapons assistance or large-scale physical or economic harm. We also, and most importantly, focus on child safety. 2 out of 3 teens use AI, 30% use it daily. Most states were negligent or slow in responding to social media to protect teens. We're not going to let that happen in Tennessee related to AI. So, Mr. Chairman, what this legislation does briefly, 3 things: requires AI companies to publish and implement and comply with their own plans and how they manage catastrophic risks, as how it also is and how they manage risk to children. The company must make clear their guidelines, their rules must be clear, and they must be continually updated and modified. If there is any kind of safety incidents as defined in the bill, if you look, Mr. Chairman and members, the first 6 pages of this bill includes definitions because, again, we're establishing a new frontier. So the first 6 pages of this bill does include definitions. If there is a safety incident, the frontier developer, which are those 5 large companies I mentioned, must report to the AG within 15 days. If that incident poses an imminent risk to death or physical injury, they must report within 24 hours. The AG can then bring civil penalties and violations. The amendment we put on allows the AG to work with Department of Safety and the TBI to promulgate rules. Finally, Mr. Chairman, the legislation makes clear that the federal government passes similar federal requirements that these AI companies, these large frontier models and chatbot providers will be in compliance if they abide by and follow federal law. So this really works in conjunction with any steps the federal government will take. With that, Mr. Chair, one more thing, Mr. Chairman, Comcast, and I talked to Chairman Vaughn and Chairman Darby about this, Comcast and Spectrum asked for a little specificity related to customer service and a couple other definitions. And I did not at the time want to file an untimely filed amendment. We do have that ready. So that'll be prepared for the full committee. But again, we're working with Spectrum and Comcast and appreciate their engagement and their support. They just want a little more specificity, which we're glad to do. With that explanation, Mr. Chairman, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Everybody hold their thought. Our clerk said that if y'all want to get paid today, we have to get clocked in. So everybody get clocked in here. Madam Clerk, please tell us the roll.
Chairman, you have 6 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Now, back on the bill. Is there any discussion on the bill? Representative Hemmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification and for the record, sponsor, my understanding is the administration has executive order on AI related to states. And from what I'm told, there's carve out for items related to your bills. There won't be a penalty. So just want to make sure we get that for the record from your understanding.
Speaker.
That's correct. Yes, thank you. Section 8 of that executive order for December, from December allows for the exemptions that we're addressing. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the bill? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, please open up the vote. All those in favor of House Bill 1898 going on to commerce, vote aye. All those opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, please give us the results.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1898 will go on to commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee.
We're ready for number 3, House Bill 2179 by Chairman Lafferty. Chairman, please tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You guys
You
may.
got some amendments there.
Oh, yes, sir, we do. Give me just a second. I have amendment number 014155. Uh-oh.
Is that the right one?
Am I on the wrong bill?
2179.
Multitasking, not my strong suit. Let's try that again, Mr. Chairman. Committee, my apologies. 14756 with
Yes,
0
sir.
at the start. All
All
right.
those in favor of adding Amendment 14756, say aye. Ayes have it. Please tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. First, let me start by saying this was brought to me by a constituent, and it has been around the world. It sounds like the Tennessee Self-Insurers Association, Tennessee Chamber, and the NFIB are all in agreement with this language in this bill. It's an attempt to, in the world of workers' comp, there has been some abuses where there have been some pretty obvious instances where someone has needed to file a workers' comp claim, but the employer has slowed that down, held it up, or denied to help that altogether. That was part of the negotiations, was to get those folks that fall into that narrow category the help that they need in the case of a claim. So with that, I will try to answer questions. And did anyone sign up to help to speak?
We do
Okay.
have someone here.
If necessary, then we can do that.
All right, we'll see if anybody has any discussion, we'll go from there.
Okay.
Any discussion on the bill? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you open up the vote? All those in favor of House Bill 2179 moving on to commerce, vote yes. All those opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, please give us the results.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 2179 will go on to commerce.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Chair.
I think we're ready for number 4 here, House Bill 2180 by Chairman Lafferty.
I have an amendment.
Yes, sir.
014155.
All those in favor of adding that amendment, say aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. It's on the bill. Please tell us about your bill.
Thank you very much. You guys might remember I was here last week with this. This is an attempt I have witnessed numerous times checking into hotels. People come to this city to have a good time, to visit family, maybe to come see somebody in a hospital. I don't know what they're coming for, but I've watched people stand there at check-in, already traveled a great distance, and then they find out that they have to pay an additional price to use the parking lot that's at the hotel that they were intending on staying at. By the time you get to that point, what are you going to do? You're going to go, no, I'm not paying the extra for the parking of the car. I'm going to go find another place. Yeah, probably not, because you've already got to commit to paying a night. You're already committed to the hotel, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is a transparency bill. I'm wanting to have the third-party carriers, the third-party providers that help hook up consumers like us with the hotels to put it on the front page. If there is a fee for parking, it needs to say so, not just say parking available. It needs to say parking available for a fee or something along those lines. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Any discussion on the bill? Oh, Representative Glenn.
So is this adding to our Consumer Protection Act?
I'm sorry?
Is this under the Consumer Protection Act, this?
I cannot tell you that I know that it's directly under the Consumer Protection Act. I do believe there was something in the language that referenced it. So there is some connection. It is intended to be a consumer protection, yes.
Okay. And is there, they can sue for damages, or how would anything?
I don't have any penalties
Okay.
in this.
All right.
It is my hope that they will do the right thing if I need to come back and revisit it next year. It's my hope that they'll do the right thing and just let their customers know on the front end that you may have to pay to park when you get there and not be surprised when they show up at check-in. That is my hope.
Any more discussion on the bill? A little bit of house cleaning. If we can get a motion and a second on the amendment. It's properly amended now.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for my help up here. I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 2180, vote aye. Any opposed, vote nay. Everyone voted? Madam Clerk,
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 2180 will move on to Commerce.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Ready for number 5, House Bill 1447 for Chairman Baum. You got an amendment on that?
I do, yes. 015419.
We got a motion and a second. Chairman, you're ready.
Okay, thank you all. Our public sector employees in this state have a fantastic retirement plan through the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. It helps them save for retirement. The system is financially solvent without any measurable future unfunded liability. But workers in the private sector don't always have retirement plans. 50% of workers in the private sector do not have retirement plans through their employer. And as a result, CNBC reports that 50 to 55, 65-year-olds have saved an average of only $85,000 for retirement. So what this bill would do is it would authorize the treasurer to set up retirement accounts for our private sector employees that don't already have one in a way that's already set up through TCRS for our public sector employees. Now, you may feel like you've heard this before, and if you do feel that way, it's because 1 month ago to the day I presented this bill, I didn't think it had any measurable support, and so I took it off notice. Literally 1 week later, President Trump, in his State of the Union address, pitched the exact same idea. I suspect he listened to my presentation, but I don't actually have any evidence of that. So the bill, as you've just amended it, or as you're considering to amend it, is actually written in a very broad way. It would authorize the treasurer to set up these accounts. It isn't prescriptive, and so there's a lot of latitude in how these accounts would be set up. If you're willing to pass this today, then I'd like the opportunity to continue working with the treasurer on this process. And to the camera, if President Trump is watching our hearings today, get in touch with my assistant. I'd like to continue working with you as well. If you would be willing to pass this bill, then we can continue this process.
Thank you, Chairman. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the treasurer with the retirement accounts, I think they're linked to Fidelity or some brokerage house. How would we ensure, fairness? You can't just lock up monopolized business where people are going to go. So how would that happen?
The amended bill is written broadly enough so that the treasurer could partner with folks in the private sector. So that's one way that I would answer your question. Another way I would answer that is to say that the people who don't have retirement accounts and currently haven't saved anything for retirement are probably going to be the kinds of workers that are going to initially just be saving small amounts of money, $50 here, $100 there. A lot of the private financial advisors in the industry today want you to come in with $500,000 ready to be invested. They're not typically interested in investing $50 here or $50 there. So I feel like that the market for consumers for our current financial advisors is not really the same market that this bill would reach in terms of it applying to private sector workers who don't have anything initially.
Representative Lynn.
And then another question, are you envisioning an easy channel for submission of contributions? And of course, that would happen through the employer, I'm sure. And then my second question is rulemaking. Certainly the treasurer's office would do the rulemaking, or?
Chairman.
The amendment is written so broadly, it would give the treasurer and the commissioner of finance and administration the ability to set up all those rules. The bill is currently doesn't prescribe those individual details. But I feel like it would be a good projection to say that, yes, employers would be responsible for getting a portion of the worker's paycheck to their retirement account in some kind of electronic fashion. But I can tell you that employers would not be required to contribute to the retirement accounts themselves. If they were, then the retirement accounts would then be covered by ERISA, that federal legislation. And although I can't say exactly what form these retirement accounts might take if the treasurer decides to authorize them, I doubt that we would want these to be covered by ERISA, because that would involve a lot more federal government legislation. If employers are not permitted to contribute, then it would not be covered by ERISA.
Got you. And that is a really good point. Employers can really get in trouble if they don't submit the withheld wages to the retirement company or whatever. So it'll be up to the employee to do that, maybe direct deposit or something like that. So thank you. That's interesting.
Speaker Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Baum, what is the state going to make any money off of this, or is it going to cost the state money for doing this in your proposal?
Again, the program hasn't been defined explicitly enough for me to know exactly what its cost would be. I don't think the state would have the intent to make money off the plan. The way I would envision the plans working would be for the administration of the plans to be paid for with a fee from the retirement accounts. That's the way it works in the private sector right now. When you invest in a retirement account, the administrator of that account gets their fee as a percent of the account. And just as a rule of thumb, if you want to know what a kind of the market rate is, it's about 1/4%. So if that were to work for the treasurer as well, where these accounts could be administered at that kind of a cost, then it would mean about 1/4% from the account would be taken to cover the administrative costs. It wouldn't be the kind of thing that the state would need to subsidize. The state wouldn't be contributing to these accounts, although there might be a little upfront cost just to get them started. But after that point, the way I would envision this would be for the accounts to pay for themselves with an administration fee.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? I think we're ready to vote here. Madam Clerk, will you open up the voting? All those in favor of House Bill 1447, vote aye. Those opposed, vote nay. Madam Clerk, please take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 6 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1447 will be moving on to commerce.
Thank you all.
Ready for item number 6, House Bill 2408 by Chairman Baum. We got a motion. And you got amendments with this also?
Yes, 015537.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Properly before us. Please tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Chairman Darby. The annoyance economy is becoming a technical term in economics that means private companies profiting by making things inconvenient for their customers. Some of the way this happens is if you have a coupon, getting the coupon rebate is made difficult on the customer to save the company money. Warranties are becoming hard to redeem when a product breaks down. And companies are soliciting their products through robocalls, peddling their goods and services. And this is a bill that addresses that last item in the annoyance economy. It's a bill that would limit solicitation calls and robocalls to no more than 10,000 per month in the state of Tennessee to residential households. It's something that would be enforced if it passes by the Tennessee Attorney General, and the enforcement provisions are already laid out in the Tennessee Consumer Protection Act. I've got a personal reason why I'm interested in this. I have an 88-year-old father who literally gets calls all day long. And I happen to have his same name, and as a result, they call me all day long thinking that I'm him, trying to sell me med alert devices, home alarm systems, final burial expense insurance. And so what this is a bill that's designed to do would be to limit those calls. And the reason why I'm proposing it is the current do not call lists do not seem to be working. Our numbers are on the do not call list, and it's just simply ignored, maybe because there's no enforcement mechanism.
Thank you, Chairman. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Hammer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, sponsor, for bringing this. I know you mentioned calls a lot, but the bill, just want to clarify for the records, it includes text messages as well, correct?
Chairman.
I don't think it explicitly mentions texting, but it does mention robocalls that are through by a machine and calls that are voice calls. But I can tell you this, this is an important exception. If a company has a business relationship with a customer, then that would not fit under this bill. It would not fit under the definition of solicitation. So for example, if Walmart has a business relationship with their clients and they want to call them and tell them their prescription medicine is in, this bill wouldn't cover that because they have an agreed upon business relationship. This bill would only cover those kinds of calls that are made without any kind of business relationship.
Thank you. And just looking from the amendment, it does say definition of robocall, which includes AI and pre-recorded voice messages, sound technology, and spam text messages via apps. So I do believe it will cover that. And I think that's a good thing. Just today, I've gotten 2 text messages about tree services and buying my home and all kinds of stuff. So I do see it, and I do know of all the scams that have undertaken a lot, particularly our seniors, involving these technologies. So thank you for bringing this.
Thank you. And this is just an alternative approach to the do not call list, since it doesn't seem to be particularly effective. And I can tell you that on an average day, I get about 100 phone calls. I've only gotten 22 so far today. I looked as I was sitting right there. 22 doesn't sound like that much. But anyway, people are calling all the time.
Speaker Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And who will stop this from happening? I want to ask that question. And you first said it, households. Are we talking about only homes, or are we talking about cell phones?
Chairman.
It should cover all phone numbers. When I define a solicitation as being a call to a residential household, I mean it being a call to a consumer, not another business or another kind of phone number to a different kind of entity. Ideally, the folks that would enforce this would be the Tennessee Attorney General, or the Tennessee Attorney General in conjunction with the Tennessee Public Utilities Commission. Those would be the groups that are already authorized to enforce things like this through the Tennessee Consumer Protection Act.
Thank you.
Chairman Hale.
And with this, there's nothing that will be hit or cost or cooperatives or anything like this. This is just going to target those telemarketers, correct, Chairman Bond?
I think that's correct. If you had a cooperative or any kind of club with membership, those individuals would not be covered by the restrictions in this bill, because that's kind of like an existing business relationship, although it might be a club with membership or a co-op with membership. There's an existing relationship that's already there. This bill would cover folks calling you when you don't want them to call, they don't have any reason to call, you haven't bought anything from them, you don't plan to buy anything from them, you're not a member of a club, those kinds of things.
And lastly, if I could ask one more. So with that, in no way is this bill going to impact, say, a phone company, phone cooperative, or an AT&T or whatever. You're targeting towards the telemarketer and nothing to do with one of our local DTC or Ben Lomond or whoever, correct?
Chairman.
That is correct. It would not be targeting the phone company that's providing the phone service. And of course, it would not target AT&T if they wanted to reach out and communicate with their customers.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Any more discussion? Representative Lynn? Been a long day.
I don't remember.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 2408, vote aye. Any opposed? Madam Clerk, please take the vote. House Bill 2408 will be moving on to commerce. And now y'all see that the economics class at MTSU is in good hands. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you all. And
Yes,
I've got to
sir.
go take President Trump's phone call.
Yes, sir. We'll be moving on to agenda number 7, House Bill 1685 by Chairman Hawk. Chairman Hawk, please tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. The purpose of this legislation is to address workers' compensation premium fraud and misclassification in the construction industry. Premium fraud and misclassification rob our state in the millions of dollars each year while undercutting local contractors who do things the right way. I'm pleased that interested parties have agreed to collaborate along with the Bureau of Workers' Comp to study this issue and explore the best route forward. I have never done this before, but I would request to ask for a summer study that we can come back next year with additional feedback on this piece of legislation, Chairman and members.
Chairman Hale, will you make a motion on that?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Hawk, if that's your will, then I think as a committee, I'll make a motion that we send House Bill 1685 to summer study.
Chairman Hawk, 1685 will go on to a summer study.
Bigger than the both of us. Thank you all so much.
We're ready for item number 8, House Bill 1723.
Motion. Second. That's me.
Representative Travis, you got an amendment with this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee, and my good friend Brittany. Amendment is 013625, sir.
We got a motion to second.
Motion.
Without objection, it's properly before us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And House Bill 1723 is regarding into child's labor. It's a minor who is 14 years of age or older, but under the age of 18. And this bill updates Tennessee law to address an issue that simply did not exist when most of our child labor protections were written. It rises as the monetized social media content featuring children. And this does, the first thing this does, committee, is the bill clarifies, defines the modern digital environment. It established what qualifies as content creation, online platforms, and comprehensive video content, which is making sure that the services like email, broadband providers, cloud storage, and standard e-commerce platforms are not unintentionally regulated. Second, the bill sets reasonable thresholds before laws applies. A minor child is considered engaged in content creation only if 3 conditions are met. The child appears in at least 30% of the content, and the content is actually generating revenue through views, and the creator earns at least $15,000 annually from the content. And third, the amendment provides financial protection for minors. When a child is a significant part of the content, a portion of those earnings are tied to the child's appearance must be placed in a protective trust account for the child's benefit. And finally, sir, the amendment includes provisions aimed at preventing the financial exploitation or sexualization of minors in online content, which ensures the law remains consistent with federal protections governing online platforms. With that, I respectfully ask for your support.
Thank you. Any discussion on the bill? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you open up the vote? All those in favor of House Bill 1723, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, please give us a vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1723 will move on to commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee. See, Brittany.
Item number 9 here, Chairman Vital, House Bill 2074. Chairman, you got an amendment with this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, amendment number 14214.
Without objection, it's properly before us.
Thank you, members of the committee. Mr. Chairman, the origin of this bill was prompted by a situation involving a state park employee in which an individual had been on the job for 3 months. And once the psychological exam was completed, it came back with concerns relative to his religious preference. He indicated he prayed to God for help when he was frustrated, and the psychologist saw that this was delusional. This bill allows an individual who applies for a job in Tennessee that requires a badge to seek a second psychological evaluation, provided he or she wasn't cleared the first time. This is to clarify law, as it was ambiguous of whether or not the psychological evaluation was part of the employment file. It does not require employment reconsideration, but indicates that if the second psychological examination comes back okay, the department seeking to hire can reconsider employment. This prevents people who fail a psychological evaluation from being forever restricted from applying for a badge job in the state of Tennessee. The Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol has noted that sometimes when considering applicants to Highway Patrol, that they have had local department experience, but the job itself creates some hardening characteristics that could impede psychological evaluations. Further, this bill gives those who had psychological evaluations access to the record as part of their employment file and continues to maintain the exclusion of people and employee records to Freedom of Information requests. This substitute amendment also includes the word may and instead of shall, and maintains confidentiality requirements relative to employees not having access to confidential workplace information. And with that, I ask for favorable support or questions.
Any questions for our sponsor? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you open up the voting? All those in favor vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 2074 will be moving on to commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Item number 10, House Bill 2617 by Chairman Hill.
Motion.
Chairman, please tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Committee. This legislation directs the governor to approve short-term workforce training programs for workforce Pell Grants if they meet federal eligibility. And really what the goal of the legislation is to provide much-needed funding for our students that are interested in entering the workforce. They can be accredited programs, but they don't necessarily have to be, as long as they meet industry standards that are already set in place. The legislation requires the use of existing infrastructure, and we're in a bit of a time crunch because we want to be ready to serve as many students as possible to get them into the Tennessee workforce. And pending any questions, I would seek passage, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any questions for a sponsor? Representative Hale. I'm sorry, Representative Hemmer.
I was confused. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just curious, if they're not accredited program, do you have any examples of what like that could be?
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. A non-credit program, they have to meet federal requirements and lead to an industry recognized credential. And so I can get you a direct example of what some of those might be, because I certainly don't want to lead you astray, but I would need to do that between sub and full if we move out of here.
Any more questions? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you open up the voting? All those in favor of House Bill 2716, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 2716 to be moving on to Commerce.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee.
Item number 11, House Bill 1946. Yes, sir. You got an amendment with this,
Yes, sir, Mr.
Representative?
Chairman. Late file, but I would ask consideration.
Yes, sir.
It's 014031.
We have a motion, second. Without objection, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. We all know that there is a fast-moving technology, artificial intelligence. Our concern, though, is the effect it may have on our young people. And this particular piece of legislation is simply asked that TASC would do a study into artificial intelligence, analyze existing federal law and pending federal regulatory actions, also an assessment of the potential fiscal impact on state and local government, also to look again at potential safeguards related to minors and mental health protections, including suicide prevention protocols. Mr. Chairman, that is the crux of the bill. Would ask for passage.
Yes, sir. Any questions for the sponsor? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk? All those in favor, vote aye. Push aye. Any opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, please give us the results.
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1946 will go on to Commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members.
Ready for House Bill 2213. We'll roll that one to the Hill. We'll roll that 3 spots. We're now ready for item number 13, House Bill 2087. Got a second? Chairman, you're ready to go.
Yep. Thank you, Chairman. You know, one thing I want to share with this committee, the bill's dead in the Senate, unfortunately. But the area of predatory lending has been a big concern for me. It needs to be a big concern for every one of us up here because it's affecting our constituents. It's affecting Tennesseans. I just want to read the first few paragraphs of this legislation. Whereas predatory lending traps consumers with deceptive interest rates, and whereas deceptive interest rates cause the original amount borrowed to be ballooned, making it difficult for consumers to pay back those loans. Whereas putting consumer protections in place to help consumers in this state aligns with President Donald Trump's campaign to make America affordable again. Like that, President Trump's Make America Affordable Again. That's something we need in this state. Unfortunately, the bill didn't go nowhere in the Senate, but I want to share a story with you. A few years ago, I had a lady named Miss Helen. She came up here. I made a video about it. You can go to YouTube and type in Miss Helen predatory interest. Pretty good video. Some would say it's rated R. Anyways, I want you to go to it. But here's what Miss Helen did. Speaker Marsh, here's what Miss Helen did. Miss Helen went in there She's got a special needs sister in the car, battling cancer. Only had a few months to live. She thought she was borrowing money at 11%. It's 11%, all right, 11% a month, Chairman Vaughn, 11% a month. Here's what makes matters worse, Chairman, is that the repo man started calling her. The end game of this whole business model of Tennessee Title Pawn in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and as well as some others, to take the vehicle. Lure them in there 11%, bait them in there 11%. Turns out it's 132%. She was trapped. It's predatory. She was trapped. She had nowhere to go. Car dealership called me. I didn't know what to do. I showed up with my camera, my phone. I said, "You don't mind if I record, do you?" He says, he didn't know what to say. He was curious what his white dude is with his black woman. So I recorded him. I said, "How much rate you charge her?" And he goes, 11%. So I zoom in on the contract. You can see all this in that rated R video, Miss Helen, predatory interest. And it's 132% interest. I said, "So who is Dale, the repo man?" He didn't want to talk about it. The guy's running dealer plates, motor vehicles, never done anything about it. Confronted them last year. But the point I want to make, she begged and borrowed and went to everybody. The guy, she finally came up with another $100. He'd already suckered her on one loan. She called me crying the next day, and she said, "He won't give my title." She come up with the money. So I got Murfreesboro police out there. Black officer and a white officer showed up, went back there and got the title for her. So kudos, Murfreesboro police. I've shared this with Subcommittee, the AG. I happened to call the guy the day before, and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a loan." I said, "How much rate you going to charge me?" Me being a white guy, he said 9%. Black girl charged her 11%. It's predatory. I think something needs to be done about it. And I want y'all to talk to your constituents. I heard somebody say suicide. Somebody called our office about a month ago, said that their wife almost committed suicide because she got trapped in one of these places. It's out of hand. I think Tennessee is one of the worst. I think it's modern day slavery. If somebody's want to take an issue with it, then come up on my radio show and debate me. People are silent today. And I just want this committee to not be silent. Look at this over the summer. Talk to your constituents. I do think we'll have some reform. Sadly, it's probably going to take a few years. But this is an effort to bring awareness to this. Pull up the video, Miss Helen, predatory interest, and click like. And also the reason she went there, I said, "Why'd she go? Why'd you even go here?" She said he had 145 all positive reviews. Like, you believe this? But people believe those fake reviews. That's something I share with committee too, that I wish maybe we could take on next year to try to have some reforms in those areas. Chairman, thank you so much for allowing me the honor to talk about this. And I just want y'all to put this on your radar. And just your pastors that are watching this, don't be silent. People need to start looking at this because it's our community. It's affecting every one of our districts. So thank you, Chairman. Thank you for your indulgence, sir.
You gonna take off?
I'll just take it off notice. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. See you next year.
Thank you, Chairman. So House Bill 2087 officially off notice. Moving on to item number 14, House Bill 1777. Chairman, have you got an amendment with this?
I do. Number 015515.
Without objection, the amendment is on it. Please tell us about your bill.
Thank you. And the amendment does make the bill. Shares some personal experience. Over the last several years, it's become a growing problem of real estate investment trusts, the REITs, coming into Tennessee and outbidding young couples trying to buy their first home. This has happened to 3 of my 5 children and some of their friends. In the process, the REITs, of course, are driving up the cost of these homes, and they're drying up the availability, the inventory of single-family homes. When they get these homes, they're also flipping them to rentals, which is changing the nature of our neighborhoods. So it's not only affecting young couples trying to buy their first home, but you have long-term homeowners who didn't buy in a rental complex and they don't want to live in a rental complex. but that's what their neighborhoods are becoming. I did a word search for REITs in our TCA, and I was actually surprised that we give special carve-out tax breaks to some forms of REITs. So looked into that, and what this bill does is remove those loopholes, those advantages that we're giving to the REITs to compete with our kids and young families. So with that, I would appreciate y'all's support.
Any discussion on the bill? Representative Lynn.
I think this is a great bill. This happened a few years ago in my daughter's neighborhood, and it does change the whole neighborhood. Instead of having a neighborhood full of families, there's a neighborhood full of transient renters, most of them. And I thought to myself, what can we do about this? Well, I was completely unaware of the tax advantage REITs have for doing this. Families don't get a tax advantage like that. So I really like this bill, and thank you for bringing it.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm sorry. Speaker Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you have any idea or a guess of how much more a commercial rate would be than just a regular homeowner's property rate? Is it double, or is it, how much more is a commercial rate?
Chairman.
Okay, and thanks,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. There are actually two advantages. What we were discussing was on the excise tax, they get an advantage there. I think what you're referring to deals with the property tax, and commercial properties are taxed on 40% of their appraisal, where residential properties are taxed on 25% of the appraisal.
And I really like your impact, 95 million. That's a pretty good bit of money coming in, so positive. Thank you.
Yes, it is. And like I say, it was amazing to me that we were giving that big of a tax break advantage to these large corporations. And I'm not anti-business, but why giving them that advantage, again, to compete against our children and young families, to outbid them when they're trying to buy a home?
Any more discussion? Madam Clerk, will you open up the vote? All those in favor of House Bill 1777, moving on, vote aye. All those opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1777 will be moving on to Commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. Thank y'all.
Ready for number 17, House Bill 2248. House Bill 2248. Please tell us about it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill will raise the minimum wage in our state to $20 an hour with an adjustment every year for cost of living. The yearly adjustment is based on the rate set by the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers. As of right now, the minimum wage in Tennessee is $7.25 an hour, which is the lowest possible amount a state can mandate per federal law. This has been the lowest possible minimum since 2009, meaning Tennessee has not seen an increase in over 13 years. 29 states and the District of Columbia have minimum wages exceeding the federal minimum, so this is not a new topic. Tennessee has one of the highest percentages of people making minimum wage. The average minimum wage worker is 35 years old. There are more people 55 and older making minimum wage than there are teens making minimum wage. There's no time more dire for an increase in minimum wage as prices are skyrocketing everywhere you shop and rent and other services are increasing in order to afford supplies. It is unacceptable when we have billion-dollar corporations hiring full-time employees at wages that qualify for SNAP and other government programs. The bottom 20% of our workforce earns minimum wage. I encourage you to take a look at MIT's Living Wage Calculator. It's a study that they do, and you can pull up any county in the country and find out what a living wage is. And they base it on the amount you spend in rent, the amount you spend in groceries, transportation, all the costs. And they do it pieced out by if you're a single person, if you're single and a child, or a couple and a child. It's very educational as to what a living wage actually is. And if you are concerned that it will increase the prices of goods, prices increase even without an increase in the minimum wage. And that's one of the problems that we're seeing. Even if prices do increase in response to this, people will be able to afford it. You hear a lot of times that, oh, well, then, there's not going to be enough jobs. But that's in the 29 states that have increased the wage. This is a thing that has not happened. They haven't seen problems because of the minimum wage increase. And so what I ask you all is to think about how this is going to affect most Tennessee families who are working 2 and 3 jobs to keep food on the table, to keep the lights on, and be able to buy the prescription drugs that they require. This bill would allow folks to be able to work 1 job, and so spend time with their family instead of working 2 and 3 jobs at low wage jobs. And so thank you. I just hope that you will support this legislation.
Any discussion on the bill? I think we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, will you open up the vote? All those in favor vote aye. Those against vote no. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, you have 1 aye and 4 noes.
House Bill 2248 fails for lack of positive vote.
Thank you, Chairman and members.
Moving on to number 18, House Bill 2339. Got a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
I wish I could. House Bill 2339 fails for a lack of second. Moving on to number 19, House Bill 0565 by Representative Hemmer. Got a motion, second. House Bill 0565 fails for a lack of second. We're at the end of the calendar. I want to say a personal thank you, a sincere thank you for committee members and the folks up here that helped me make it as good as we could. And but I appreciate you sincerely. And with that, with subject to the call of the chair, House Banking and Consumer Affairs is, Representative Chairman Hale.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to say what an honor it's been to work with you the last 2 years on this committee. It's been an honor, and to sit down and discuss the legislation before us as we're moving forward. So you and of course, the Chairman Vaughn also. But I also want to say, and maybe she wants to sing a song for us, that Brittany here, even though she gives me a hard time, you got anything you want to say? Chairman, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Chairman, now I've got to go back with her, and she's got a big stick by her desk. So you made it a bad afternoon for me. But I appreciate y'all. And with that, subject to the call of the chair, the House Bank and Consumer Affairs is closed.